Hi there. For this video, we'll be discussing about how to solve or get the distance between 2 points. So for a question of the day, given these 2 points, how do we know the length of this line out here? So this is a line connecting the 2 points, or essentially, this is their distance. So how do we get this? Just take note that this must be aligned out here. There. So this is the problem that we will be trying to solve and discover in this video. Fortunately, we're actually given a formula on how to get this one. So the formula is given by this, wherein d is the distance between the 2 points. It is given by the square root of the difference of x sub 1 and x sub 2, and square that one, plus the difference of y sub 1 minus y sub 2, and square that one. Take note that this is interchangeable, so you can have here x2 minus x1 or y2 minus y1, since we have a square outside. So even if the outcome is negative, we'll still get a positive result due to the square. So there are many ways on how to obtain this formula, but I'll use the simplest one, which is the Pythagorean theorem, in showing how this formula existed. So using this figure out, note that if we construct a triangle out here, so let's use a different color, say green. So let's construct a triangle out here. Then we know that the distance for this one out here is given by x sub 2 minus x sub 1, since x sub 2 is this whole part and x sub 1 is this part. So subtracting the x sub 1 part, we obtain this area out here. Similarly, we know that this out here is given by y sub 2 minus y sub 1. Now by Pythagorean theorem, we know that if this one is A and this one is B and this out here is C, then we know that we can get C by simply A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So applying that similar idea out here, we have x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared equals d squared. And from here, we simply get the square root both sides. Getting the square root both sides will give us d equals the square root of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. And again, note that these two out here are interchangeable. So from this, we can get the given formula. Out here. So just remember this formula, since it will be useful in our calculations later on. So for our first example, we're tasked to find the length of the line segment AB given these 2 points. So first, to visually represent what is happening out here, let us first plot these 2 points. So in here, we know that it is at -1. Its x coordinate is -1. And its y coordinate is 1. Wait a second, I'll just take a sip of water. So we're back. Where was I? So again, we're plotting the points out here. So we know that the first point A is out here. And for the second point, it is at 4 steps to the right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 steps above. So that's 2 out here, 3, 4, and 5. So it is over here. Yep, 4, 5. So our goal is to find this length out here. So by the distance formula, we have here the distance is given by the square root of the difference of the x coordinates. So we have here, if we set this to be x1, this is y1, this is x2, and this is y2. So just plugging in the values, we'll have here x sub 1 minus x sub 2 squared plus y sub 1 minus y sub 2 squared. From here, we'll have this out here will be, this out here will be -1 minus 4 is -5. And this out here will be -4. So squaring these will obtain 25 plus 16. And adding these two up will give us the square root of 41. Since we don't have any units or units out here, we simply just write units for our unit sign out. This out here is our answer. This out here is our answer for this problem. So as you can see, it is very straightforward. We simply just set x1 and y1 given our points and just plug it in the formula to obtain the length or the distance. For this last example, we are tasked to find the distance between the point -4, -5, and the point 3, 1. So again, to visually represent this problem, let's first plot it in our graph out here. So for -4, -5, that we will have here -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and below we have -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6 out. So plotting it, that will be on the x coordinate is -4 and the y coordinate is -5. So it is around here. So we have here this one. For the other one, we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. There. So the x coordinate is 3 and the y coordinate is 1. So it's around here. So take note that if you're kind of confused how we are plotting these points, you may check out my previous video as we discussed there how to plot the points in a Cartesian plane. So to find the distance, our goal is to find this out here. Oops. Assuming that this line is straight. So again, first thing to do is to set our x sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 1, and y sub 2. So we can set this one as x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, and y sub 2. So now given this, we can now apply the formula. So we have here d is equal to the square root of x sub 1 minus x sub 2 squared plus y sub 1 minus y sub 2 squared. Simplifying this will give us negative 7 squared plus negative 6 squared. 7 squared will give us 49 and 6 squared will negative 6 squared rather will give us 36. Simplifying this expression will yield us the square root of 85. And again, we can't really simplify this, so we'll keep it as like that. And again, don't forget the units, since we are dealing here with distances or lengths. So this out here is our final answer. So that is how the distance, or finding the distance between 2 points, work. Just remember the formula, set the values for x sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 1, and y sub 2, and just basically plug it in and do some necessary calculations. So to end this, here's an exercise for you to work on. So we have here, find the distances of the following. So these 2 points out here, these, and lastly these. So essentially, you'll just apply the formula, and again, to be able to apply the formula, you first need to set what your x sub 1s, x sub 2s, y sub 1s, and y sub 2s will be. So for instance, for this first example, we can set this to be x sub 1, this to be y sub 1, this to be x sub 2, and this to be y sub 2. Like that. And take note that you can interchange it actually. So you can set this to be x sub 2, y sub 2, x sub 1, and y sub 1. Just take note that the important thing to remember is that you can't switch the x and y coordinates. So for instance, you can't set this to be y sub 1 and this one to be x sub 1. That will give us the wrong answer if you do that. So take note of that one. The proper combination must be this is the x sub 1 and this is the y sub 1. Since this first one out here refers to the x coordinate and this to be the y coordinate. Yep, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed and learned a lot from this one. Feel free to comment down below any comments, suggestions, that you have for our next videos. And also, if you have an answer for these problems, you may comment it down below, and I'll be happy to check if you got the correct answer in these. So that's it, and that is all for this video.